Now, Jen Psaki signed off as White House press secretary today, ending her tenure as Biden's chief spokeswoman and propagandist, where she spewed endless lies, flip-flops, false narratives, and played a never-ending blame game. Here's a quick trip down memory lane. Watch this.
You may have noticed this week that your gas prices have gone up. I want to talk to you a little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin. It's broadly known and widely known, Peter, that there was a broad range of Russian disinformation back in 2020.
Why is the administration flying thousands of migrants from the border to Florida and New York in the middle of the night?
Well, I'm not sure that it's in the middle of the night. As individuals come across the border and they are both assessed for whether they have any symptoms. If they have symptoms, the intention is for them to be quarantined. That is our process. They're not intending to stay here for a lengthy period of time.
The president still believes that Build Back Better will not add a dime to the national debt?
Correct, it won't.
Why should Americans believe that?
Because it won't.
It was crystal clear that things were not improving on supply chain. People couldn't get dishwashers and furniture and treadmills delivered on time, not to mention all sorts of other things. So why is it
the tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed? Right. And last thing I just want to do before we get to your questions, I often note I'm going to circle back. I hate to disappoint conservative Twitter, but I am going to circle back on a number of things, as we often do directly.
Yeah, boy, that's not what we were working for in the 80s and 90s, all these generations with feminism. Now, I'm sure Psaki will be right at home over at MSDNC, where she can continue to act as an arm of the Democratic Party and continue to spin endlessly for what is an imploding Biden presidency and failing agenda. On Monday, new White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre will take over the podium, where we can expect to hear more of the same excuses for the same reckless far-left policies. Here now for a reaction, Fox News contributors Joe Concha and David Webb. You know, Joe, as I've intimated here, a lot of women and men have worked for a couple of generations now to get women in positions of power. And we are now watching this with the first female vice president, a woman who's the head of the Department of Energy, women who are generally now the press secretaries, and they have thrown their lot in with the lying batch. And they've just sold it all out. And, it's heartbreaking for this country, but we have a chance to change it and fix it. For Jen Psaki, maybe a year and a half here for Joe Biden, what do you think she's going to try to do when she's actually on television? More of the same, or will she change it up?
Oh, I think it'll be more of the same. The problem is, Tammy, is that without Peter Doocy there as a foil, then Jen Psaki becomes patently very not interesting, right? She was with CNN for years.
That's right. And
I don't remember any segment where she stood out as some sort of great communicator or somebody who could make a really compelling argument, passionate argument. So I don't see her really being this big success that people are portraying her to be when she goes to her next job. And I can't remember, by the way, any press secretary who had this sort of self-congratulatory farewell tour like this one she's had over the last month. And some have said, including one former Sunday anchor on this network, that Jen Psaki was one of the best and greatest press secretaries like ever. Wow, if that's the case, then why has her boss and Joe Biden and his agenda failed so craptastically, both in practice and on the messaging front? Let's look at the scoreboard, right? Ms. Psaki is reportedly the brainchild behind Putin price hike, right? That hashtag. In regards to inflation that's been rising for 16 months, how is that message resonating? Because a recent NBC News poll, her future network, Tammy, only 6% of American voters blame Vladimir Putin for the current inflation crisis. So if she's this great communicator, then what's going on here?
Well, and David, maybe you can shed some light here, because my sense is with so many flip-flops, the press secretary is supposed to be someone who comes out of the meetings, knows the narrative, the conversations, the work that's being done in the White House and in the administration, comes forward with the binder of information that we saw Kayleigh McEnany do all the time, answering the details of questions about the missions and what was being accomplished. She says something one day to clarify what Joe Biden says. He says something that then contradicts her. It's like, David, it's like they're winging it, and like there's no meetings that she's going to. Has she been just a front person, or is she really someone who's learned something in this process?
First of all, never follow the circus and never follow Joe Concha on media analysis, but I'll give it my best. Did Jen Psaki actually read the job description? Let's go and look at Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Let's look at Dana Perino, two people we know well here. Their job was to bring the administration's message forward.
Right.
Jen Psaki put her message forward, like her farewell tour. She was still playing the front woman in this case, rather than the messenger for the administration. She made it up. She circled back. This move to MSNBC will be no different. They're looking for a replacement at some point, maybe for Rachel Maddow, who will show up for work maybe once or twice, like a Democrat congressman. Maybe they'll do something. She's going from a federal salary to a high-paying salary. She's failed upwards while the American people pay the price, and she just kept circling back or blaming it on someone else. So she didn't do her job according to the description of the job, which is messenger for the White House. And the message, that's not saying their message was coherent. At times it was incoherent, and all they could think about was new clever catchphrases that are poll tested for months to see how far they could use something, which then turns on them. This is monumental failure, Tammy, and sadly, the world is watching this. Wait till we get KPJ.
Yeah, nothing will change. Look, these are women who I think, Joe, they understand that their job is to protect the image that there is a functioning White House, and that's what it seems like she's been doing. Whoever is behind that podium, who they can get to do it. That's going to be their job. And so they're activists, effectively. Simone Sanders, who left the Kamala Harris office, also has had a new show, and that has not done well. Joe, do you think it's going to translate? Do you think Democrats will watch this because she worked for Biden, or do you think that it's because she's famous? Do you think she'll fail at this? What do you think her future will end up being?
Tammy, I'm not sure there's much of a base for the Joe Biden brand overall, right? When you're at 33% approval, and when you're at Nixon kind of numbers, like Nixon last days Nixon numbers, when it comes to your handling of the economy or inflation or the border, I don't see that being something that transfers because there's not much of a base there to begin with. And again, Jen Psaki was Joe Biden's spokesperson. Is she really going to the press secretary Hall of Fame at this point, considering how low his numbers are and how the message has so badly resonated?
The lack, I have to
it's
say,
a rhetorical
Joe,
question, actually, Tammy.
It's the lack, gentlemen, of empathy. That this is what they seem to all share. Right? I mean, Joe, it's like her comment about the treadmill, the thing about call a doctor because of the shortage. You're supposed to be, you've been hired by the American people to not only not ruin our lives, but to make it better. And her reaction, Jen Psaki's reaction, is to mock and to ridicule people who are suffering in this country. Joe, am I going too far in describing her attitude?
No, I mean, this is the same press secretary, Tammy, that insisted that skyrocketing crime, police officers being targeted like we've never seen before in this country, is only a Fox News talking point.
Right,
you know
right.
Why not go to, ask any of those police chiefs in New York or Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, if the record murder rates there is a talking point of this network. They will tell you that is not the case. So, yes, she is patently condescending. That will not play well on television. Good luck with your new job. You've had it basically for a month and a half anyway, and you should have resigned 6-8 weeks ago, but she did not.
The left tends to try to take care of their own, and we'll see what that brings them. In the meantime, the rest of us are saving the country and saving the future for the families of this nation. David, Joe, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you being here.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.